Hello everybody, this is toysareruss, and for this special figure showcase and review, this is another bit of a strange one for me. This is a KO version of your MP25 tracks. So I need to thank Ben Williams, who's kindly lent me this to do a review on very quickly, and also I suppose to let you guys know that if you are in the market for one of these, there's quite a few on Shozy at a very, very low price, and hence the reason why I'm going to be reviewing it, because in all honesty, I was completely stunned as soon as I opened up the packaging, because I thought with it being a KO, I thought obviously they were going to KO just the figure. I was completely stunned. I've obviously done the Mirage, not the Mirage, sorry, the Wheeljack figure on here already, but with the fact that I remembered, because again, typically I've only just sold my original, I remember the fact that it came with so many accessories, like the flight stand, which again is fully included in here, like all of the accessories, like the wing mirrors, the figures, the blaster, everything pretty much. Again, I know it sounds really silly what I'm saying, but this is just to reiterate for people maybe like myself who were a little bit naive, thinking that, oh, it's just the figure. It's not. It is literally a carbon copy of everything that was in the original packaging. Now, the packaging itself, you can tell up close that it's not, the Takara quality or the official figure quality. It's, you can see there's a few lines in there. It's a little bit blurred. It's nowhere near as sharp. I suppose that's the best word to use. It's not as sharp. For anybody who used to collect or does collect Generation 1 figures, it's very similar to how the Mexican figures boxes are compared to the original. It's really noticeable in hand, but on a shelf or from a distance, it's not too noticeable. And all I mean by that is it's just a more inferior quality. It doesn't feel as sturdy and as robust, and as I say, I can clearly tell that the print on it isn't as sharp as the original. It also doesn't, of course, have the hologram underneath. It's pretty much copied everything else. Hopefully the back will give you an idea again, where you can see that blurred is too strong a word. It's just not as clear, not as sharp. But the box is, there you go, again from a distance, it will serve its purpose. And this is another reason why I've started to do these sort of reviews on the channel, even though I don't collect them myself. Obviously there's a market there for people, and I suppose if this can help people, then all the more reason for it. So there's the collector's card. Again, same as this, it's just a little bit blurred, it's not sharp, and with the instructions, it's really noticeable. Even though it's reflective paper, it doesn't look as clear as the original. With regard to the figure in the alternate mode, it does look good. I'm not gonna tell you that it isn't. It looks good. We are, of course, going to have a look at the robot mode, see if there's any loose joints, anything like that. The translucent windows, okay, they're perfect. I've seen or I suppose people say that they're sometimes a little bit blurred, a little bit scratched. This one perhaps has got a little bit of a smoke to it, but these are crystal clear. The decals on here, or the tampographs, whatever you want to call them, they seem absolutely fine. No issues with them there. It looks like it's all holding together pretty well. It feels exactly the same. Like I say, it's so typical. I literally sold mine a couple of weeks ago. The tires, they're not rubber. Or are they? They might be. I can't tell now I've said that. I will double check and let you know. They feel like a really hard rubber, but as far as I say, I can tell at the moment, this is a good quality figure. The box is more notable as a KO compared to this. So let's see what he's like in his robot mode. And yeah, we're going to come right back now. Okay, we're back, and he's in his robot mode. Apologies for no transformation process on this video. Main reason is to keep the length of the video down, and two is because I went super slow, because I genuinely thought I was going to break it a couple of times. Again, it's one of them weird things, one of them weird situations, because when you've got him into the robot mode, he doesn't look too bad. And the same thing what I was saying about the box, that if you've got this guy on a shelf and you're not too up close with him, you probably wouldn't notice it at all. I'm not saying it's a bad figure. I'm not saying you should go out and buy the original. Obviously the original is better for some reasons, but I'm just going to discuss again exactly that. This, I suppose, is a brilliant stand-in or a make-do for the original, but everything else seems to be pretty much bang on, to be honest. But already, I mean, to be fair, this one's way better than the KO Mirage that I did review, because that was quite obvious, I think, for quite a few reasons, whereas this one, I don't know if you can tell, if you can make out, the white is not bright white, as white as the original was. The paint on the face isn't the greatest. You can see there it's just come right down onto the tip of the nose. This actually looks a little bit yellowed, same as with the bits under the arms. So, you know, maybe I'm being overly picky, I'm not too sure. As I said, I did read things that some of the windscreens were a bit misty or a bit hazy, but my copy's absolutely fine. Maybe a bit at the back, but again, it wasn't too noticeable. Everything sort of feels okay. If I want to be, and I don't know if I'm being overly pedantic, the shoulders are a little bit more temperamental. You can see how this is moving and bouncing it around. But, you know, as silly as it sounds, masterpiece figures, although they do transform, they're mainly aimed at, you know, adult collectors who aren't going to be playing with them and who aren't going to be transforming them to and from all the time. So I think you can get away with it, to be honest. And as I say, it's with regards to all of the accessories, I've put the gun in his hand, it holds on to it no problem whatsoever. All of, as I say, the decals are pretty much exactly the same. They don't look to have any sort of paint bleeds or anything out of the ordinary. All of the rest of the articulation is there. The shoulders for me are just a little bit scary. So, and you see how they move around like quite easy. That shouldn't be popping off there as easy as that. So I think if you were going to be transforming it or indeed playing with it, this would very soon become a problem, because it does get quite loose. It definitely doesn't feel as robust, and as I say, when I was transforming it, I did feel a couple of times that I was going to break it. But as I say, everything else is there. There's the way it moves, the way it feels. I don't want to say it feels cheap, because that would be a lie. It doesn't feel any different. As I say, with the wheel jack, you had loose joints. There's none of that issue with this. You had the loose joints. You could clearly see that it was a bit more faded. It had different decals, etc. But with this guy, no, I think, as I say, this is one of the best sort of KO figures I think I've ever seen. And granted, you know, I don't own any and I haven't really reviewed very many of them, but sometimes you see the figures and it's blatantly obvious. With this, I say the only issue would be these particular shoulders here that you can see me messing around with. But as I've already said, if you were just going to be displaying this either as a make do or to fill your gap on a shelf, it will more than suffice. So I think that's pretty much all there is to say about it. I didn't want to do a full review on the actual figure. I just wanted to do a review on the fact that it's a KO, and if there was any noticeable differences or reasons why you shouldn't be getting this. You know, the feet are holding their own, the knees are holding their own, there's no loose joints. These are, and this could vary copy to copy. I know that some people with their wheel jacks said that they didn't have loose joints, whereas mine did. I just think that the things that I can definitely see straight off the bat is this is not bright white, it's a little bit faded, same as here. Whether or not, I can't remember on mine if it had the paint bleed there. It just looks, to be honest, exactly that it's not fully painted properly, because it's coming right down onto that part there. And that's about it. As I say, with regards to everything else, you wouldn't really know. So again, if you're going to stick it on a shelf, I've said it a couple of times, I'm not going to say it anymore. If you're going to stick it on a shelf just on display because it's the one that you're missing on and you don't want to pay full price, then this is probably going to be the one that will more than suffice, unless they do something, which I would imagine they do, because with all masterpiece figures, and especially now they've ran the line out and they're changing everything to MPG, I wouldn't be surprised if this guy had an update anytime soon, due to the fact they can obviously use the mold for a number of different color combinations. But there you go, guys. With regards to the fact that this is a KO figure, it's not too bad at all. There you go. Hope this helps. Take care.